Hello Zenith women, and welcome to the channel. The price of being truly yourself is often solitude, but the reward is freedom beyond measure. Life isn't a fairy tale, and no one knows this better than Sigma females. These fiercely independent women thrive in a world that doesn't always understand them, navigating life with a unique set of rules. While others chase validation, Sigma females prefer their own company to a crowded room, choosing authenticity over approval every single time. Here's a fact to chew on. Studies show that highly independent individuals are often perceived as intimidating, not because they're unkind, but because they refuse to conform. Sigma females? They wear this misconception like a badge of honor. But let's be clear, being a Sigma female isn't all brooding independence and philosophical Instagram quotes. It's about embracing some brutally hard truths about life that most people either ignore or can't handle. And spoiler alert, one of those truths is that people will never stop trying to fix you with unsolicited advice, like a group project you didn't sign up for. So, buckle up. This isn't your typical feel-good pep talk. We're diving into the 8 brutal truths about life that only Sigma females accept, and why that makes them extraordinary. Ready? Let's get unapologetically real. Number 1. People will judge you, regardless of your intentions. No matter what you do or how good your intentions are, people will judge you. It's an inescapable truth that Sigma females not only understand, but embrace. You could be the kindest, most well-meaning person in the room, but someone will still find a reason to criticize you, whether it's your confidence, your decisions, or simply the fact that you don't seek their approval. For Sigma females, this is a hard pill that they swallowed a long time ago. And guess what? It was liberating. Judgment is often less about you and more about the insecurities and biases of others. Sigma females recognize that when people judge them, it's often a reflection of how those individuals see themselves. But here's the catch. They don't waste time trying to change anyone's opinion. Why? Because they know it's impossible. If someone's determined to misunderstand you, no amount of explaining, proving, or defending yourself will change their mind. And honestly, why should you care? This acceptance doesn't come from arrogance, but from the realization that people project their own fears and limitations onto others. It's not your job to carry that weight. Sigma females choose to focus their energy on what matters to them, living authentically and unapologetically. Of course, it's not always easy to shrug off criticism. The sting of being misjudged never completely disappears. But Sigma females don't let it paralyze them. They've learned that the opinions of others are fleeting, unreliable, and irrelevant to their personal growth. In a world obsessed with approval, the ability to keep walking while others whisper behind your back isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. Sigma females wield that power with grace and strength, proving that being misunderstood isn't a curse, it's a mark of independence. Number 2. Independence comes with loneliness, but it's worth it. Independence is a beautiful thing, but it's not the fairy tale people make it out to be. Sigma females know the truth. Independence often comes with loneliness. When you carve your own path, you naturally step away from the crowd. While others rely on their social circles to validate their choices, Sigma females find validation within themselves. This is both their power and their burden. The reality is that choosing independence means you'll often feel like you're on an island. Friends may not fully understand your decisions, family might think you're too distant, and society will label you as different. For most people, this kind of isolation is unbearable. But Sigma females embrace it because they've discovered that the alternative, compromising their freedom to fit in, is far worse. This doesn't mean they don't value relationships or connection. On the contrary, Sigma females cherish meaningful bonds. The difference is they don't need constant company to feel whole. They don't seek out people to fill their empty spaces because they've taken the time to fill those spaces themselves. It's a mindset that confuses others, but Sigma females don't explain themselves. Of course, the loneliness can be hard to swallow sometimes. There are nights when the silence feels deafening and moments when the weight of standing alone feels heavy. But Sigma females don't wallow in self-pity. They use these moments to deepen their connection with themselves. They find solace in knowing that their independence isn't a phase or a rebellion, it's who they are. For Sigma females, the trade-off is clear. Loneliness is a small price to pay for the freedom to live life on their own terms. And in the end, the strength they gain from walking alone is worth more than the approval of the masses. Number 3. Conforming won't buy you respect. Conforming won't get you the respect you think it will. Sigma females understand this better than anyone. They've seen how the world pressures people to fit neatly into boxes, dress this way, talk that way, follow these rules. And they've watched how people sacrifice their individuality for a false sense of belonging. The harsh truth? Conformity might win you temporary acceptance, but it won't earn you true respect. People are quick to reward those who blend in because it makes them feel comfortable. They'll smile and nod at someone who agrees with the crowd, but that's where it ends. Deep down, they don't respect someone who hides their real thoughts, waters down their personality, or plays small to fit in. Sigma females know this, which is why they reject the charade altogether. They're not interested in surface-level approval. They'd rather face criticism for being themselves than applause for being something they're not. It's not about being rebellious for the sake of it. Sigma females aren't loud or attention-seeking. They simply refuse to betray their values or identity to appease others. They understand that true respect is earned by standing firm in who you are, even when it's inconvenient or unpopular. The world often mistakes this for arrogance, but it's not. Sigma females don't see themselves as better than others. They just know the cost of betraying themselves is far too high. They've learned that the people who truly matter will respect their authenticity, even if they don't always agree with it. At the end of the day, conformity might make life easier in the short term, but Sigma females know it's a hollow victory. Real respect comes from being unapologetically real, and that's a trade they'll make every single time. Number 4. Emotional self-sufficiency is a double-edged sword. Being emotionally self-sufficient is both a blessing and a curse, and Sigma females know this better than anyone. On one hand, it's empowering to not rely on others to regulate your emotions. They've built themselves up to a point where they can handle life's challenges without needing someone else to reassure them every step of the way. But here's the harsh reality. It can also be exhausting. When you're emotionally self-sufficient, people assume you don't need help. They look at you and think, she's got it all figured out, when in reality, there are moments you wish someone would step in without being asked. Sigma females don't wear their struggles on their sleeves, and that often makes others oblivious to what's going on beneath the surface. It's a double-edged sword. Your strength makes you seem invulnerable, which can leave you feeling isolated. What makes it even harder is the unspoken expectation that Sigma females place on themselves. They've spent so long being their own anchor that asking for help feels foreign, almost like a weakness. Even when the weight becomes too much to carry, they hesitate to reach out because they've conditioned themselves to believe they can handle it all. But this isn't about being a martyr. Sigma females aren't opposed to vulnerability, they just approach it with caution. They know that being too reliant on others can leave them exposed, and they've worked too hard to become independent to risk losing it. So they carry on, balancing their self-sufficiency with the occasional pang of loneliness. At the end of the day, Sigma females accept this paradox. Their emotional strength is their greatest asset, even if it sometimes feels like a quiet burden. They wouldn't trade it for the world. Number 5. The crowd is almost always wrong. The crowd is almost always wrong, and Sigma females know this instinctively. They've seen how the majority tends to favor what's easy, comfortable, or popular over what's true, wise, or meaningful. Trends come and go, opinions shift with the wind, and societal norms are often built on shaky foundations. Sigma females don't have time for any of it. They trust their instincts and refuse to let the noise of the crowd drown out their inner voice. It's not that Sigma females are contrarians for the sake of being different. They don't reject the majority just to stand out. Instead, they've learned to critically evaluate what's being presented to them. Is this trend adding value to my life? Is this popular opinion grounded in truth? Does this norm align with my personal beliefs and values? If the answer is no, they walk away without hesitation, even if it makes them the odd one out. The harsh reality is that the majority often chooses what's convenient over what's right. It's easier to follow the herd than to think for yourself. It's easier to adopt a trending opinion than to dig deeper and form your own. But Sigma females don't take shortcuts when it comes to their beliefs. They understand that standing alone is the price of staying true to yourself. This approach doesn't make life easy. Sigma females are often labeled as difficult, stubborn, or even arrogant. But they know the value of walking their own path. While the crowd chases temporary satisfaction, Sigma females focus on what truly matters to them: authenticity, growth, and wisdom. They don't need the majority's approval to validate their choices. For them, truth and self-respect outweigh the comfort of fitting in. Number 6. Happiness is overrated. Contentment is the goal. Happiness is one of the most overhyped concepts out there, and Sigma females aren't fooled by it. They know chasing perpetual happiness is like chasing the horizon. You never quite get there. The world sells happiness as the ultimate goal, tying it to material success, fleeting experiences, or approval from others. But Sigma females see through this illusion. They understand that happiness, as most people define it, is temporary, unpredictable, and often dependent on external factors. Instead of chasing it, they focus on something far more sustainable: contentment. Contentment is quieter, steadier, and rooted in acceptance. It doesn't demand the constant rush of new achievements, possessions, or validation. Sigma females find contentment in being at peace with who they are, where they are, and what they have. It's not about complacency. They still have goals and aspirations, but they don't tie their entire sense of worth or joy to reaching them. They've learned that the highs of happiness are always followed by lows. It's a cycle that leaves most people feeling empty when the thrill wears off. Sigma females, however, avoid this trap by focusing on balance. They embrace life's ups and downs with grace, knowing that neither extreme lasts forever. This mindset gives them resilience, a calm strength that allows them to weather storms without losing themselves. The Sigma female's approach to life may seem unexciting to those chasing constant excitement, but it's infinitely more fulfilling. While others burn out trying to maintain the illusion of perpetual happiness, Sigma females find peace in the present moment. For them, contentment isn't just a goal, it's a way of life, a grounding force that keeps them centered in a world obsessed with more, bigger, and better. Number 7. You too be misunderstood more often than not. Being misunderstood is something Sigma females have come to accept as part of their reality. Their complex personalities, unconventional ways of thinking, and refusal to conform often leave people scratching their heads. Others may try to analyze them, label them, or put them into neat little categories, but it never quite fits. Sigma females are walking contradictions, independent but deeply thoughtful, reserved yet confident, approachable but fiercely private. For most people, this mix is hard to decode. In the beginning, it can be frustrating. Sigma females might feel the urge to explain themselves, to clarify their intentions or justify their actions, but over time, they realize it's a losing battle. People see the world through their own lens, and more often than not, they project their own assumptions and insecurities onto others. No matter how much effort a Sigma female puts into being understood, someone will always get it wrong. So they've stopped trying. Sigma females no longer waste their energy on over-explaining or defending their choices. If people misunderstand them, so be it. They've learned that being misunderstood isn't a reflection of who they are. It's a reflection of how others perceive things. They let people believe what they want and move on with their lives. This approach isn't about indifference. It's about prioritizing their peace. Trying to make everyone understand them would require constant performance and compromise, neither of which they're willing to do. Sigma females know that the right people, the ones who matter, will take the time to truly understand them without the need for constant explanation. In a world obsessed with labels and clarity, Sigma females embrace the chaos of being misunderstood. They don't fear it, they see it as a testament to their individuality and depth. Number 8. Relationships are conditional, no matter what anyone says. The idea of unconditional love sounds poetic, but Sigma females know better. They've learned that every relationship, romantic, platonic, or familial, comes with conditions, whether people admit it or not. Love may be deep and genuine, but it's never entirely free of boundaries, expectations, or terms. Sigma females aren't bitter about this truth. They simply see it for what it is, and navigate relationships with their eyes wide open. Unspoken conditions exist in all relationships. Whether it's loyalty, honesty, or emotional support, there are always expectations in play. Sigma females understand that these conditions aren't inherently bad. They help define mutual respect and fairness. But they reject the fairy tale version of love that promises unconditional acceptance no matter what. In their view, such an idea sets people up for disappointment and opens the door to unhealthy dynamics. This clarity makes Sigma females approach relationships with a practical mindset. They don't idealize people, nor do they expect perfection. Instead, they value honesty and mutual effort. If someone betrays their trust, disrespects their boundaries, or consistently takes without giving, they won't hesitate to walk away. It's not that they don't care, it's that they refuse to cling to relationships that drain them or compromise their self-respect. Sigma females also hold themselves to the same standard. They don't demand unconditional loyalty from others while offering less in return. They value reciprocity and are intentional about meeting the expectations of those they care for, so long as those expectations are fair. By rejecting the myth of unconditional love, Sigma females build relationships based on authenticity and mutual understanding. They aren't afraid of losing people who can't meet them halfway because they know that real connection thrives on respect, not empty promises of forever, no matter what. Number 9. Time will betray you if you don't use it wisely. Time is a ruthless, non-refundable currency, and Sigma females are acutely aware of its value. Unlike most people who fritter away hours chasing external validation, fitting into social expectations, or worrying about things beyond their control, Sigma females know that every moment is precious. They've realized that time is the one resource you can never get back, and they treat it with the reverence it deserves. Sigma females don't indulge in the luxury of wasting time on superficial pursuits. They know that seeking approval from others, whether it's on social media or in person, only steals the time that could be better spent working on their goals, building their lives, or enjoying meaningful experiences. They don't get bogged down in what others think or spend energy worrying about things that are outside their influence. Instead, they direct their attention to what truly matters: their growth, their peace, and their purpose. This mindset isn't born out of impatience, but of wisdom. Sigma females understand that no one is promised tomorrow, the future isn't guaranteed, and all you really have is now. They don't squander their days scrolling mindlessly, engaging in drama, or investing in relationships that don't align with their values. Every decision is made with the awareness that time will pass regardless of what they do with it, so they ensure they're spending it in ways that will enrich their lives and further their personal development. Of course, Sigma females enjoy life, but they do so with intention. They find joy in simplicity, in quiet moments, and in genuine connections. Time is precious, and they know that the way they spend it today shapes the life they'll have tomorrow. So they don't waste it. They make it count every single day. Number 10. True power lies in silence, not noise. True power lies in silence, not noise, and Sigma females have mastered this. In a world where people constantly seek validation, explain themselves, or defend their actions, Sigma females choose a different route. They understand that words and displays of emotion can be easily manipulated or misinterpreted, but silence, coupled with thoughtful, deliberate action, holds an unmatched strength. They don't need to explain their every move or justify their choices to anyone. They know that their actions will speak for them, and that sometimes saying nothing is the most powerful statement of all. This isn't about being passive or withdrawn. It's about the quiet confidence that comes with knowing who you are and what you stand for. Sigma females refuse to engage in pointless arguments or offer unsolicited explanations. Instead, they let their actions, achievements, and decisions reflect their values and intentions. The need to defend oneself diminishes when you know your worth and trust that those who truly matter will see and respect it without needing a word. While others might be drowning in noise, trying to convince, argue, or impress, Sigma females stay calm, focused, and in control. Their silence doesn't mean weakness or indecision. It's a sign of inner strength. It's the knowledge that they don't need to shout for attention or approval. Their quiet presence, grounded in self-assurance, says it all. The true power of a Sigma female lies not in the noise of the world around her, but in the strength of her silence and the impact of her actions. At the end of the day, the Sigma female isn't for everyone, and that's exactly how she wants it. She doesn't chase approval, nor does she waste time trying to fit into a world that constantly demands conformity. She walks her own path, often misunderstood but unapologetically true to herself. In a world obsessed with fitting in, she stands as a reminder that the most powerful thing you can be is yourself, flaws and all. Sigma females don't buy into the illusions of happiness, unconditional love, or easy relationships. They know that life is full of hard truths that others may shy away from or sugarcoat. But it's through these truths that they build the foundation of their extraordinary lives, a life that doesn't revolve around seeking validation, but around finding peace, growth, and independence. They understand that time is their most precious resource, and they're not about to waste it on anything that doesn't serve their purpose. Ultimately, the Sigma female's strength lies in her ability to embrace what others avoid, the complexity, the contradictions, the imperfections. She doesn't need the world to understand her because she understands herself deeply and completely. And in that understanding, she finds her freedom, the kind that can never be taken away by the opinions of others or the expectations of society. So while the world may try to define her, label her, or misunderstand her, the Sigma female will continue on her own path, standing strong in her uniqueness, always embracing the truth, and always choosing herself. If you found yourself nodding along, resonating with the raw truths and unfiltered insights of the Sigma female journey, don't let this moment slip away. Subscribe to the channel and join a community that values authenticity, strength, and unapologetic self-awareness. Here, we don't sugarcoat life. We embrace it in all its complexity and beauty. So if you're ready to keep diving deep, challenging the norms, and walking your own path, hit that subscribe button and let's continue this journey together. Your best self is waiting, and the best is yet to come. Don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and bye.